Hi guys, it's your boy Daniel with yet another video and welcome to my YouTube channel. On this video, I'm gonna share with you on how I sold this Kia Picanto 1 liter street to a reputable dealership. Selling a car is a relatively easy task in my opinion, but it can be a daunting task if you've never done it before or you basically don't know what you're doing. As you all know by now, I usually dish out a piece of advice on all of my videos. As someone who has gone through this process before, I will advise each and every one of you to sell your car at a reputable dealership in order to avoid a lot of confusion and headache. Most reputable car dealerships do things by the book, and believe it or not, that's very important, and you want to have that kind of integrity on your side when you're selling your car. I have heard people saying that car dealerships usually want to buy their cars for much less than what they are worth at the time. I myself have found that to be true, and here's why. As a seller, before you go to the car dealership to sell your car or even inquire about selling your car, you have to do your due diligence. Due diligence will come in handy for you as a seller because when you get to the dealership, you will basically be on one side of the negotiating table. Believe me when I say that you don't want to be in a situation where you are negotiating with a car salesman and you didn't do your research or you don't have a frame of reference. Now here's what you need to do to get the most out of your vehicle when you are selling it to a dealership. Before you can go to the dealership, take your smartphone or laptop and visit the TransUnion website. That's TransUnion. TransUnion is a credit bureau facility, and within the TransUnion website, there is a service that they have where you can find out how much your car is worth. You can take my word for it or simply not. But what I can tell you is that where I sold my car, that dealership used the very same website to find out what my car was worth. And the TransUnion service only cost 10 Rand. Now that you have an idea of how much your car is worth, it will probably be best for you to go to 3 dealerships of the same brand as your car and 1 dealership of a different brand than your car. What I mean by that is, if you are selling a Kia, it will probably be best for you to go to 3 Kia dealerships and then maybe go to 1 Ford dealership or 1 VW dealership and ask them for a quotation. It will probably be best for you to take the highest quotation that you have from a dealership and take it to the dealership that offered you the second highest quotation and try to see if that dealership can beat the highest quotation. It might not work, but it's worth a try. Another advice that I can give you is to make sure that your car is clean on the day that you take it to the dealerships for a quotation, because first impressions matter. You don't want to take your car to a salesperson and then when the salesperson gets out of his office, he just sees an old dirty car. And you find that in fact your car is not old, but it's just dirty and not well maintained. Another point that I see people getting it twisted all the time is when it comes to custom made changes, the changes that you made yourself to the car. For instance, say your car came with regular wheel caps and then at some point you decide to go and purchase custom made mags so that your car can look nice and all. It will probably be best for you to take out the custom made mags and put on regular wheel caps when you go back to the dealership, because that will decrease the value of your car when you're in front of the salesperson. The only changes that will increase the value of your car are the changes that are approved by the dealership. The modifications that matter when it comes to increasing the value of your car are the modifications that are approved by the dealership. On my previous video, I did mention that I bought a Kia Rio 1.2 LS. Say at some point I decide that, you know what, I like those 1.4 tech Mac rims and I want to get them on my 1.2 LS, and the Kia dealerships approves those Macs and then actually gets to do the labor on the Macs. Then that is a change that might improve the value of my car when I sell it. So I will advise anyone who wants to do modifications on their car to check in with the dealership and see if they can make proper modifications that can in fact increase the value of their cars. My Kia Picanto had a cracked windscreen, and luckily I had done quotations on how much I will get charged for the windscreen to be changed. When I got to the dealership, it was the cracked windscreen and 2 dents on either side that were major issues. The Kia dealership was very honest with regards to how much it will charge them to change the windscreen, and it was the very same price that I had the quotation for. The dents were not really taken into consideration because they were just small dents on the side of the car. Like I said on my previous video that I had bought this 2017 Kia Picanto at 120,000 with a mileage of 70,000 kilometers. I took a 2-year warranty that was 8,000 rands, and therefore my total purchase price went up to 128,000. I financed the car over 2 years and I paid 2,620. The deposit that I paid on the car was 74,000. The interest that the bank has given me was a bit on the high side because back then in 2019 my credit score was not as good as it was now. The purchase price of the Kia Picanto was 129,000 and I negotiated it down to 120,000. I must admit that 120,000 was a very good price considering the fact that if you want a Kia Picanto nowadays with 70,000 kilometers worth of mileage, it's around 135,000 rand. As I will indicate on the Auto Trader search that a Kia Picanto these days it's way above 135,000 rands. Please bear in mind that here we're not talking about JJ Cars or Daniel Motors or Kenneth Motors. We're talking about reputable dealerships. My intention is not to tarnish the names of those dealerships, but I have trust issues because of the Hello Peter complaints that I have seen. Hello Peter is an online platform that users can lay complaints against service providers that they've been in contact with. Now let's come to the two main parts of this video: the price at which Kia bought the Kia Picanto for and the cost of ownership. For now, let's dwell into the cost of ownership and save the best for last. As I've mentioned, with the Kia Picanto I used to pay 2,620. And with insurance, I obtained Standard Bank insurance, which is my financier for the car, and I used to pay 1,200. During my ownership of the Kia Picanto, there was a time where I was renting and I stayed less than 4 kilometers from where I stayed to the workplace. And at some point, I had to move into my own home, which was 39 kilometers from home to the workplace. Obviously, you can imagine that the amount that I paid for petrol was not the same. 1,500 was the average amount that I paid, considering that I was now staying very far from the workplace. The Kia Picanto had extreme fuel saving capabilities, considering that when I went to work, I used to clock in at around 4.8 liters per 100 kilometers, and when from work to home, I used to clock in 2.9 liters per 100 kilometers. So all in all, I used to spend around 5,320,000 rand every month. I used to pay for those expenses solely from my salary as a paper maker. Now let's jump into the best part of this video. Kia bought the Kia Picanto Street 1 liter for 98,000 rand, and I was happy to take the depreciation from 120 to 98,000 rand because it was 22,000. It's unlike when I have bought a new car and I had to take a depreciation of more than 50,000. Yo, some guys are going through a lot, guys. Please check out my last video and click on the subscribe button and the like button. And also tell me what you want to see on the comments. I'm out. Bye.